I've been wanting to make a video like this for a while. See, I started talking about fitness. This is probably gonna be a long video because I gotta make sure that y'all understand it. I know the title was "Want to Lead," or you want to lead, get jacked, and I believe that, right? So you want to be a leader. You think you're a leader. Are you strong enough? Are you jacked? Want to lead, get jacked. And if you're not taking care of yourself physically, how can you expect to lead? Did you read this week's ATD letter? I didn't think so. I got you. When you're taking care of yourself, it's easy. When you're taking care of yourself and just your spouse, it's too easy. When you're responsible for a few lives, the stress is major. Sometimes dragging yourself to the gym feels like a huge burden. It's a burden that no longer feels fun. Sure, the gym can feel like therapy, but sometimes you need real therapy. Hitting the gym helps a bit, but let's be real. You want to look good naked and rock it on the beach. And if you got kids, you want them to see you as the superhero, and you want your wife to see you as a Greek god. Imagine your kid saying, "My dad looks like the superheroes, the action figures that I'm with." You want your kids to look at you and see strength and health. Growing up, my dad was like the Black Incredible Hulk to me. Picture Lou Ferrigno, the bodybuilder painted green to play in the old TV show, The Incredible Hulk. My dad used to come into my room, flexing his muscles, looking jacked. That image burned into my brain. My dad was strong, powerful, and in shape. That's what I want my kids to see in me. I want my daughter to find a partner who cares about health. If you don't take care of yourself, you might not be able to take care of others down the road. So how do you find time to work out? Life happens. But here's why you can do it. You can definitely find 3 days a week to work out. Even with an hour a day, you can shorten your rest times and get workouts done in 35 to 45 minutes. We can push through. You have the time to watch Netflix, YouTube, and scroll through social media for hours. You got the tools. You got Google, YouTube, and the blueprint that I'm gonna give you. There's no reason you can't attack your goals. What's up? I'm Drew, and this is the ATD Chronicles, where I unload insights from the ATD letter that goes out every week to help you engineer tools to attack the day. There's a strong link between being physically fit and leading. You've heard the saying before, your health is wealth. Well, it's true. How do you maintain that when you're more responsible for other people's lives than your own? I know that might sound a little crazy. How can I be more responsible for other people's lives than my own? Well, when you bring seeds into this world, when you create a family, that's a heavy responsibility and a heavy burden. And let's just call a spade what a spade is. It is a burden. Now, you can look at a burden as a bad thing. I look at a burden as my sense of responsibility. So when you have that sense of responsibility, when you have those burdens, you have those things you have to take care of, right? Being strong is a key point in your leadership. But sometimes trying to stay fit, keeping fit can be a tasking job, can be a tasking priority. With all the other things that we let distract us. So that's the only thing that happens is we let things distract us. With all the things that we let distract us, sometimes we can come off our path. We can come off the journey that we've set out for ourselves. Know that being physically fit is a crucial part of leadership. When you have a strong physique, when you strong, right? Strong physically is like level 1, right? But if you've been doing it long enough, you know that there's a certain level of mental resiliency. There's a certain level of mental aptitude, mental fortitude, knowledge that comes from all of that exercise and lifting and pushing yourself. Now I'm talking true exercise. I'm talking true physical fitness, right? When you get to the point where you've mastered, you've put in hours and years in the gym, that level of discipline, that level of dedication, it's hard to match. It's hard for anybody else to match that because you've put in the reps, you've put in the energy to be the best version of yourself on this whole self-improvement journey. And If you're a father, if you're a husband, if you're a leader of an organization, if you're starting your own business, if you just became a father, if you have any of these new things that are coming into your life, or you have these things that have been in your life and you're looking to become a better leader, then the easiest thing, the simplest thing you can do is start with yourself, with working out, right? That's one of the easiest things, the simplest things, the baby step to self-improvement, okay? When you learn how to master your body 100%, everything else is easy. Like, again, I say everything else is easy. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything possible to master yourself. Like, fitness is the easiest way to start, all right? Because when I started fitness almost 28 years ago, over the years, every myth, every fitness thing that has come out, I've been able to debunk it. Every study, scientific study that's been said, this builds muscle, this burns fat, debunking the myths. You know, there was a myth that I had, and I'll do a video about it, give you guys the science behind it. But there was a myth, right, that by running, you destroy muscle, right? And it's similar to, and I know this is going to hit some of you Bible thumpers and things like that, and you can, you know, fact check me all you want. Just like alcohol, drinking is not a sin, right? I'm here, hear me out now. Being a drunkard is a sin. Doing anything in excess is a sin. Gluttony is a sin, right? Not honoring your temple is a sin. So if you're not physically fit, that's a sin, right? Anything against yourself, anything against the temple, anything against your body that does not glorify God, that does not build you up, is that not a sin? That's it. As deep as I'm gonna go on that, you know what I mean? It's not what this was about, but I just had to put that into perspective. You know, if you're not taking care of yourself physically, you're doing a disservice to yourself. And if you're not taking care of yourself physically, how can you expect to lead? Now, I'm not talking about you have to have washboard abs. I'm just saying physically fit, physically capable of taking care of your family. If you can't take care of yourself, what are you gonna do when your wife has a baby? A precious seed that you put inside of her. And now she's doing her best to bounce back. And you don't have a solution. You don't have a plan. That's the first step in leadership, taking care of your family. I mean, Yo Gotti said it. You know what I'm saying? It's in the big homie rules, right? Taking care of your family, I just can't respect it if you can't do that. So it's not just about providing value in a monetary way. You got to know how to take care of your body. And you got to be able to pass that down to your wife, if she doesn't already know how to do it. You got to be able to pass that down to your kids. You know, we teach our children to brush their teeth, to wash their faces, to do their hygiene. We expect the schools to teach them to be physically fit. I mean, heck, if I'm not mistaken, they pulled gym for the most part out of the school, or they kept it physical education. They teach them, right? Kids aren't climbing ropes anymore. Now, there's gonna be somebody on here, I know. Tell me what school it is. Tell me what county you're in, what state, what country where they still do physical fitness. And I applaud your school system, great. But out here in Georgia, in Atlanta, in the suburb, my kids have PE. They walk around the gym. They do a few sit-ups here and there or whatever, but they're not doing nothing physical. I remember climbing ropes. I remember playing dodgeball. I remember being physically active. I remember leaving the gym sweaty. These kids come home and they smell just like they left when they left the house, fresh and clean. There is no physical activity happening. All right, that's it for my tangent. Like I said, that's not even in the letter, right? That's just something that I just, off the top of my head, just went off on, you know, because it's something that bothers me. So let me know in the comments. Do your kids, if you have kids, or do you remember gym class? Do you remember actually climbing a rope? Do you remember actually being physically pushed in gym? Do you remember changing clothes and having to have a gym uniform? Like, what schools are still doing that? I want to know. One of the things that is an obstacle to your physical fitness, to helping you be jacked, this chair I'm sitting in right now, this chair you're sitting in right now. How many times have you scrolled on social media for hours? How many times have you been stuck at a desk like this? This desk right here is a standing desk, right, that I have. It's one of the things that I said, if I'm gonna have this business, if I'm gonna be in real estate, if I'm gonna work for myself and be an entrepreneur, everything the way I do has to align with what my goal is in life. And when I was in the military, a portion of my job, I had to sit behind a desk. You know what I mean? Paperwork, setting up comms, setting up computers, radio systems, whatever. But I was always moving. I was always in the field, right? So with that being said, it's one of those things that I know what works for me, right? I like to get my hands dirty from time to time. I like to be able to move around. So sitting behind a desk doesn't do it for me. Those desk junkies and those people that enjoy just sitting behind a desk for hours, kudos to you. But let me ask you how your hips feel, your neck feels in about 5 or 6 years after sitting behind that desk. So I urge you to go get a standing desk, and I'll put a link in the desk that I have. So if you want to check it out, you can go ahead. I'll put a link for a lot of things, right? Because I'm talking about fitness this week, and I'm talking about being jacked. And I showed, if you're listening to this on Apple or if you're watching it on YouTube, I showed a video not too long ago of my gym setup and my whole setup and how I created a place for me to be able to work out and work. You know what I mean? Having like a hub command center at home where I kind of do everything that I work on, right? And that's important. That's important to have, because if you don't have a place to work, to tinker, to kind of call your own, to work on your things, it's going to be hard to stay focused, right? And that's another thing with getting jacked, with being a leader, right? There's really no excuse. I created a space for me because I thought it was important to me, and I always wanted that. But you don't need a place to work out. You can work out anywhere. When I was stationed in Colorado, and when we would go on field missions, right, I used trees, I used rocks, I used whatever I could find to work out. Now, modern day, you know what I mean, living in the States, resistance bands, there's no, like I said, there's no excuse, and there's a plethora of opportunities and ways to get in shape, right? And one of the things that I like to do from time to time is the 80-45 challenge, right? It's a challenge that transforms your life. I do it like every quarter. It's like a 45-day challenge, and it doesn't require any weight. Resistance bands, if you want to add in there, cool, but push-ups, pull-ups, squats, leg tucks, abs, all types of exercises in a methodical way will get you the body that you want. Time and attention, understanding what the body does, all those things will help you get in shape. But something for y'all right now is the ATD Blueprint. And the ATD Blueprint is in the link at the bottom too as well. This is a way to devise and put together things for yourself. Put together a blueprint so you can go ahead and get your mental, your physical, and your spiritual together. Understand how to work in your finances, all of those things for you all for free. And it's at the link in the bottom. So the enemy to fitness, the enemy to the modern day man, is the chair that we're sitting in right now. Whatever you're doing in that chair, and whatever you're doing right now, if you're in a car or whatever, sitting down is the modern day enemy to physical fitness, to physical readiness, to being strong. We're not meant to sit down every day, all day, right? Stand up, get to moving, get to walking. You have legs, arms, limbs for a reason. You have muscles for a reason. Use them. Use them. It's all about strength and what you can do and that defines you. That resiliency, that consistency, that dedication. By simply adding exercise, changing your daily habits and your routines, you can boost your energy, your creativity. Everything will be increased. Your libido, being in shape, being strong increases so many things for a man, right? Sex drive will be through the roof. Energy will be through the roof, right? Dedication will be through the roof because of your discipline. And when I talk about libido, I'm gonna do another video, and I've studied and practiced semen retention for some time now. And let me tell you, this ain't what my channel is about, but I could teach y'all some stuff. That's all I'll say about how important your seed is, right? And it's a friend of mine. He has a seminar. What do I want to call it? Like a panel, a live event coming up. I think it's on the 29th. I'll put the link in here. But Paul Oates, right? I think I always have a hard time pronouncing his last name. But Paul, a new like live event with him and a bunch of other guys that are teaching specifically the things that you need to know about herbs, that you need to know about taking care of your body, right? And basically your sexual energy and all of that. And like I said, I could teach a whole subject about that. I practiced and done some things for some time, but that guy's the true expert on it. And I wanted to make sure I shouted him out because it's important when people change your life or help you in certain things, you gotta pay it back. You gotta pay it back for it, right? And this is gonna be something you don't want to miss. So one of the main benefits of exercise is the brain power that you get from it, right? The cognitive function that happens because when you exercise, you're pushing more oxygen, you're increasing your cardiovascular health, right? You're increasing your stress tolerance to all move and operate effectively and more efficiently, right? And if you don't challenge yourself, you can't change. And by having more muscle, by having more strength in the body, it helps prevent other things like osteoporosis and various things. And I'm giving you a lot of facts because there are some people that need the facts in order to get motivated. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you want to look good naked. You want to go to that beach and be proud and confident. It's all about confidence. That's all being strong, being a strong leader is about. Being jacked is about, is a level of confidence. Now, some men can get that level of confidence without working out, right? But you still need to work out. Everybody should be in shape. This is your temple. This is the skin, the mud body that you are in, and you got to take care of it. And you can sculpt it and create it and build it the way you want. That's the beauty of, having that God-given power, is that you can transform and change and look and be however you want to be. And you don't need any steroids, right? If you learn how to operate and move with the body effectively, you can go down to 2 days a week and still build muscle and still be strong. And I know some people are going to be out there, oh, no, you can't. I've done it. So hit me with some truth here, right? It's too much information out here to call someone a liar, to think of something as a scam. If you haven't tried it, if you tried it yourself, shut up. If you haven't tried it yourself, if you haven't put the time in, if you haven't tested what is being put out here, even down to you go to the doctor and they tell you something, it's up to you to challenge everything, to question everything, right? Now, when I say challenge everything and question everything, a spade is a spade. The sky is blue and somebody tells you it's blue, believe them. Unless you have some kind of way to, to believe what your eyes tell you, right? Believe what your intuition tells you. Believe what you see, you hear. Okay, those are the core facts, but I'm talking about things you can't see and people have told you. Question it. Do the research on it, right? That's why a lot of the times when I give people information or I give them plans, workouts, I always make the disclaimer this is what worked for me. This is what worked for my clients. This is what worked for such and such. And I give facts, right? At one point in my life, I used to work out 7 days a week. 7 days a week. Traditional bro splits, bodybuilding style. Monday chest, Tuesday back, Wednesday legs, Thursday arms, Friday shoulders, Saturday abs, Sunday calves, right? Going like that for years. Then I went down to 5 days a week. Still kept the muscle. Then I went down to 4 days a week. Still kept the muscle. Then I went down to 3 days a week. Still kept the muscle and made more gains. Now I'm doing 2 days a week. The verdict's still out, but right now I'm still the same weight. I'm still pushing the same amount of weight, right? If not more. 1 second. All right, we back in there. What was I talking about? I don't even know. If this makes it to the cut, all right, I want to know what y'all think about when things happen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a big production team. I'm doing all this myself, right? Got the camera set up, the editing. Like, how do y'all feel when stuff like that happens? Big trash man comes, 7 o'clock in the rising, making all this noise, messing up my video, messing up my podcast. Are y'all okay with those disruptions? Do y'all feel it's less professional? What are your thoughts? I just want to know. I can't say I don't care, but I just want to know. All right. Plus, this allows me to break the third wall, talk to y'all, talk to me, tell me something. All right. But anyway, back onto what I was talking about. So, challenge everything. That's right. So 2 days a week now, right? Pretty much a Monday and a Thursday, right? And basically, for lack of better words, I kind of do like a total body push one day, total body pull the next day, right? And a lot of it is because, everybody's kind of listening to Mike Mentzer now, but I've been listening to Mike Mentzer, Frank Zane, and what was his name? Sergey Nurbert. I may not be pronouncing that right, but I'll put pictures up so y'all can see what they look like. But those three guys I've studied and paid attention to, even though Arnold was like somebody I looked up to as far as in the bodybuilding world growing up, right? Those three were the main three I followed and listened to because, one, Frank Zane was more my body type. Mike Mentzer, he was more philosophical, more educated in his knowledge like Frank Zane, so it kind of made sense. And Sergey, he was black, and he was one of the few that went up against Arnold. So for me, those were people I listened to as far as the fitness, muscle building standpoint came, right? And they all had their different ideologies on how they lifted. But I did notice that a lot of their trainings, they didn't train as much as everybody else. They had a different thought process. And I know that they were taking the juice. But the juice helps with recovery and also helps with the building and pushing past your natural peak, right? You still have to put in the work. So if they were able to put in less work, and get similar, if not same results or better, I go with the most efficient and most effective, right? Now, again, if you heard me earlier, I did do it 7 days a week at one point, 5 days a week, because I had to test these theories. I had to test these different training styles to see what worked for me. You live long enough, right? And the quote I like, you live long enough and you sometimes become the villain. You live long enough and you see yourself become the villain. Now, the villain can be, like I said, to the past version of yourself. Past version of myself would have never, 2 days a week, that's not enough, right? Everybody else is working 5, 6, 7 days. Like, you're not working hard enough. You're not working enough. But when you're working out, just so you guys know, you're breaking down the muscle. It's the rebuilding. It's the rest time that helps you put on the muscle. So in theory, this is what I've done over the years. The more you put on the body, the more load, the more stress in that period of time, and then you give it time to rest. That's where the muscles come from. Think about this. Not in the letter. That's why if you're watching this, that's why if you read this, and if you listen, you get different portions and pieces of it, right? So hear me out. If I worked 7 days a week, and I told you that I broke down the body, right? 7 days a week, working out. If I tell you that I'm working out 2 days a week now, what's the difference? And I know somebody's gonna get on here, because I used to be that person, and break down and argue the fact and this, that, and the third, but nothing trumps questioning everything for yourself. Just because I tell you something, I'm not God. I don't have all the answers, but I do have the answers that work for me. So, bring this on home, right? Because we've gone longer than I wanted to. What y'all think, right? Do you think that you should test out theories? Do you think you should test out and question everything that has been put out in these books and put out that even me, myself, challenge me, question me? As a man, as a leader, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do the research and do the investigation for yourself. We are natural problem solvers. Everyone is. But more importantly, as a man, as a leader, you're supposed to put that work in yourself and question everything. How can you lead? How can you answer questions if you never tested the things that you're telling your squad, your family, your organization? Do the research, do the work, right? Something doesn't make sense, try a different way. You work 7 days, then you go down to 2 days. If you only worked one body part, that's what I was getting at. If you only worked one body part during that time, and if you work that same body part on Monday, and then you work some different body parts on Thursday, and then you don't touch them again for a whole week, isn't that not the same as when I worked 7 days a week and I only worked one part of the body? Again, I know somebody on here who's into fitness, who's gonna no, you can't do that. You can't, or you can, but you're not gonna have the most maximum amount of gains. Let me tell you something. Here are my stats. I still deadlift 415. I still can bench press 225, and I can squat 405. Now, do I do that on a regular? No, I probably do it every 2 months because I'm more about time under tension, right? I still have the same measurements that I've had for the past 15 years, 30-inch waist, 41-inch chest, 22-inch thighs, 17-inch calves, 16.5, 17-inch arms. I'm 5'8", 172 pounds on a good day, 177 on a bad day, right? So those numbers add up. If you watch one of my other videos and I talked about your most muscular potential, right? See, I started talking about fitness. This is probably gonna be a long video because I gotta make sure that y'all understand. It's so much. And I've been wanting to make a video like this for a while. I know the title was "Want to Lead," or "You want to lead, get jacked," and I believe that, right? But you got to understand the level of what the bodybuilding community, fitness, nutrition, like it's all money. It's all about the money, right? Everything that I do is not the norm of what most people like. I eat twice, sometimes once a day. I still get all my protein. I focus on the protein. I've been vegan, plant-based, right? Like I said, I've done the work to debunk anything that has been put out here to tell you that you can't do this or this won't work. Like everything will work. It's just the level of consistency that you will have when doing it. And that's hard for some people to believe, but you have to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. And as a man, you got to stand on your principles of what you believe, right? There's so much information out there. There's so many people with different theories and they all practice them. And there's 700 billion people in the world. You think that because you came up with this idea is golden? No, it's not. It's not. You got to put in the work to understand it. If you got any questions on anything I said, put it down in the comments. Let's have a conversation, chop it up. Let's have a debate. You need to make sure that fitness is a priority. And there's no excuse. Like I said, I don't care if you're watching Netflix, you have time in the day. I just told you how to break down from a 7-day workout to a 2-day workout. So if you don't want to do that and you say, hey, I can't do that, right? I can't do that. I want to work out every day, but I don't have an hour. You can cut it down to 30 minutes a day. Anything that, if you want it bad enough, you'll do it. If you want it bad enough, you'll accomplish it. When your back is against the wall, when you have no alternative, no place else to turn, you go forward. Or you break that freaking wall down brick by brick and you go through it. Go the other way. It's up to you. It's up to you. How bad do you want whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish? Whether it's that body to get jacked, whether it's that money for that new crib, for that new whip. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Simplest way to get in shape, to achieve any level of fitness that you want, and to get jacked is to set a standard, right? Now, you have to try and trial and error first. And you have to have, let's say, you ever seen Get Rich or Die Trying, right? There's a couple other movies. He had a picture of Rick James. It was, you know what I'm saying? Because the guy that, you know what I'm saying, I believe killed his mom, with some Rick James looking, right? So he looked at that picture every day. So when I was heavy into bodybuilding, I had a picture of what I wanted to look like, and then ingrained in my head. And it was similar to my father, right? Because I told you about my father earlier, right? So check this out. So it was ingrained in me, and I did everything to reach and look like that. So whatever your standards or fitness and level you want to look like, you got to ingrain it in your head. You got to focus on it and make sure that you make it a priority so you can get it accomplished. Your goal, right? And then you have your like minimum viable standard. And that minimum viable standard might be a little bit under the goal, but that's the minimum that you're going to take to get to where you want. All right. And that's what you have to focus on. That's the only way you're going to reach your goal. I appreciate you tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Anybody that may find this video helpful, go ahead and tag them in it, share it, you know, join the ATD squad, join the Fathers of Creation. All the links are at the bottom. I'll enjoy having conversations with y'all, and let's chop it up. If you need help building your blueprint, like I said, the free link is at the bottom. I put these videos out. I put this information out, like I said, because I'm building a generational blueprint for my family, for my sons, for my daughter, for generations to come. So by doing these video logs and writing this letter or whatever and getting ready to put out my book in 2026, I'm putting everything out there because, like I said, this is a generational video library diary for my family and people to follow after I'm long and gone. You know what I mean? I'm keeping these as a codex, as a blueprint to pass down to them. And you guys just happen to get the benefit of experiencing it with me. But yeah, so like, share, subscribe, share this to anybody may help, anybody that's trying to get in shape, any father, leader, husband who is leading his family. You got to get jacked. You got to get jacked in order to hit a whole new level of leadership. And a question I want to ask you, why do you think leaders often neglect their physical fitness or neglect anything that is about themselves, right? I know the answer. I want to see what you guys think. Why do people neglect themselves when they're in leadership? I appreciate y'all tuning in, and the road ahead is long and hard. No place for the weak. You must be a warrior. Attack the day.